All right, welcome to Creative Academy office hours for January 24th. And I'm Crystal Stranahan, and we have Jeremy Matheson, way, and Tony Olivier.
Oh, sorry. I'm working my questions. Sorry.
And CC Humphreys as well in the house. So thank you for joining in. We're going to work through a little bit of Vellum formatting today. We're going to talk about what has Jeremy got on the wish list for today.
Yep.
Yeah. What are the things like? What are the topic areas? So I get a sense of like flow overall.
Questions about my mailing list and actually maybe some information for you. That's nice to know. I have questions about keywords, about what I've done last week on categories, what I haven't done, but what I want to do. And I have questions about Booksprout, about getting more people to download it there. And then I have questions about BookBub.
Okay, perfect. And how about Tony? What's on your agenda for today?
So I've got a novel that Eileen did an edit on probably a year ago, and I've sent it out to, I don't know, several hundred agents, and I'm getting to the point that it's I either change I have to either change the protagonist, or I just self-publish it the way it is. And while I've attended some self-publishing seminars and things like that, I have no idea where to even start with that, other than I can probably figure out how to get it up onto Amazon. I'm a tech guy, so I can probably figure out how to lay it out. But the self-promotion, all the stuff that Jeremy's asking, I go, whoa, what language are you talking about? It's completely, I'm not there yet. So I'd like some sort of a discussion about that.
I think I said that to Crystal earlier on as well, didn't I? That you sent out an amazing thing, the top 10 things, or the 10 things in order you need to do to get the book ready to go. But for me, the equal important side, I mean, I can probably figure that out. I'm not a tech guy, but I can probably figure all that out with your careful guidance. But the thing I'm not sure of is the running order of how to actually get people to know that it's out.
Yeah.
And so all that other stuff of, and I know Jeremy's been dealing with this a bit. So all that other stuff of, how to really get, the most effective way to get your Facebook page going, how much it's worth advertising or not, and how to build mailing lists. If we could have a checklist of things that need to be achieved, say I wanted to publish on May the 1st, before then, that would be brilliant.
Okay. So what I did in between emailing with Chris and actually starting this office hours was I have a series of 3 infographics that I've been working on. So the first one is the 10 steps in actually publishing a book. So that's, I'm going to see if I can actually drop it into the chat as a file, because I think that would be the easiest way to share it with you guys. I didn't quite have time to get it posted, but
I've copied it. I have it tucked away. So
I feel like there must be a share file option in here.
You could share your screen.
Yeah, I'll do that. That'll be a starting place. Okay, so okay.
Brilliant.
All right, so let's see if I can zoom in a little more. So this gives you the
finish writing. What?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people are into the publishing stuff before they're actually even finished their writing the book, which is great. But there's you have to actually finish the book. So
yes, funny
ideally,
how it is.
Yeah. Ideally, people will be in the waiting for an editor to finish the polishing stages as they're setting up their actual publishing accounts and stuff like that. So this one is sort of the order that I recommend people do things, just because some of the stuff takes longer than other stuff. And so while it's not always a completely logical order. It'll make more sense when you read the article that goes with this infographic. So there's some things like getting your ISBN account a little bit early. It takes, a week to process that, whereas your KDP account could be set up in 15 minutes and you're operational. So some of it is based on like waiting times. And some things like formatting your files, you might think you can do that before you sign up for your publishing accounts, but if you don't know which channels you're going to, you don't know what the rules are on those channels. So if you have everything formatted before you know where you're going to publish it, you can run into problems of it not meeting the standards for those particular channels. So
what do you mean by that? Is that was this font size and the
it's actual file type is one of the issues.
Okay.
It's not as much of an issue with ebooks because you're going to use different kinds of files for your like Kindle publishing versus everywhere
the
else.
EPUB. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's part of it. But if you're doing a print book, this is especially important if you're doing a print version, because there are different margin requirements, for example, and the gutter, so how wide the interior margins are, is a different requirement for different channels. If you're using Create Space for print on demand, the requirements for how your files are made are slightly different from Ingram Spark or from your local POD providers. So, it's just important to know exactly how you're going to publish it before you, especially if you're asking for help. If you're hiring a designer to do that, they're going to need exact requirements and they're going to need to know what platform. Same for your cover designer. They need to know, are you just doing an ebook? Are you doing ebook and print? Which of the companies are you using? Because they all have their own templates that you would use as a starting place for those. So, you're going to save yourself time and money if you know what your plan is and you know which of those options you're going with. You're also going to be able to use that to vet your cover designer, because if you get in touch with somebody and you say, oh yeah, I'm going to use POD, if they don't even ask you which company you're going with, you probably don't want to work with them because they don't understand that that's different. So it's a little bit of a way to screen how experienced your person is as well. Yeah, just knowing that, these are roughly the steps that you're going to follow in the publishing process. There is a separate infographic that's all pre-launch marketing tips, and there's a third one that is post-launch marketing tips. And so those are sort of the stuff you can get a head start on blends with this one. And I am working on like the overall, like a launch timeline, so that you can say, okay, I want to do all this stuff in the next, 60 days or whatever it is. And it's more of a calendar. Like, okay, we're 2 weeks away from launch. You should be working on this. Or we're 4 weeks away from launch. You should be working on this. And that will blend all of the pieces together. That'll be the pieces from everywhere. But, a lot of people are just finding that's too much.
Brilliant. That sounds fantastic. And you'll be putting these infographics up soon?
Tonight.
if you survive.
If I survive. Okay. Cough drops. Uno momento. Okay. We're going to see how this goes. You might need to email me your questions and have me record a video for you tomorrow if I
do sign language.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Let me show you how Vellum works as a next piece, because that's going to be your formatting your files part. But I think that's going to be super useful. Jeremy, did you use Vellum?
No, so this is new to me.
This is going to change your life. And Tony, are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC. I've got a Mac too, but
okay, perfect.
Right now I've got a PC.
This one is Mac only, so but it's amazing. There is an equivalent kind of tool built into Draft to Digital, which is one of the publishing platforms that you can use to do something similar, and it works almost the same way. But this one is definitely
so it might be not a problem.
Yeah.
Crystal, should I have a Word doc open to be taking notes, or will all this?
Well, this is all video recorded, so you can come back and watch this video anytime you want, and you can also like download the audio or whatever. If you just want to have it playing in the background, listening to me cough. For now, though, I will go back to sharing screen. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit for you. I've been cleaned off my desktop for you guys. Okay.
That's because you don't want us to see the files of photographs, Crystal.
Yeah, you should see my desktop. It's terrifying on a regular week. Okay. Let's share this one. Okay. So, I'm gonna move our faces, and here we go. So, Vellum, you can download a free version of Vellum, and when you open it, you just get this screen. You can see any books I've been working on are on the sidebar there. And your basic default first step is just to import a Word file. So all you need is your book in the most up-to-date Word document that you have. And Chris sent me his, so we're going to use that as an example.
So Crystal, can I just stop you? So I got as far as the first screen without the book covers on the other side. And when I imported the Word file, I got the Invisible Man, but then I couldn't get any further. It didn't let me go any further with it. I couldn't bring that. I didn't go into they said, I was following the Vellum tutorial, the written tutorial.
Okay.
And it didn't, it said, import Invisible Man. All I got was I opened it in Word, but it didn't actually appear.
Okay. And so it should work, like if you just use your book for the tutorial, it should work roughly the same way. But if you hit import Word file, then you'll have to find it in your navigation.
Right.
So here's your Jack sample.
Yeah.
And then if you click on import, it should just open it.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's right inside Vellum. So you don't want to open them separately. You just want to and so what it does is it pulls everything in, and you can see here, you have your title page, your table of contents, and it will build that for you automatically. Right now, all of these are showing as untitled. And the reason for that,
apart from chapter 1, which seems odd.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because I'm thinking in your Word document, you didn't use a heading.
This heading style.
Yeah, a heading style. So let's just open that up. We'll have them side by side, and I can kind of point out a couple of tips for you as we go through this that will make it easier. So that's what I meant. Whoa, that looks like maybe Russian. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good Lord.
That's Vidanya.
I'm going to close that again. We'll just try that one more time.
Weird.
So Vellum there's a version that's free?
They have like a testing. You can download a sample that you get.
And then what's the cost of it?
It is, do you remember, Chris, on the basic? I know I bought the one that does print books as well, which is a little bit more, but
yeah, it was not. I think it was $99 for just the ebook and $149 for
print book.
Yeah,
print. I think
that makes sense, and it's a lifetime. Like it's not one that you pay every month or every year.
Right. I hate those.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to open up a different version of your file here.
Right. And I can already see that the format, you said I needed to format before I took it into, because it looks A, too narrow, and B, the paragraphs aren't indented.
Well, okay, so don't look at the left-hand side.
Okay.
Look at the right-hand side.
They are indented there. You're right.
They are. Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't want to over-format in your Word document because you're bringing in the Word document and then you're going to give it different instructions for a print layout versus your e-layout.
Oh, okay.
So in here, what we can do is you can change what you're looking at this on. So the beauty of this is that when you're designing for ebooks, they look completely different depending on what you're looking at. So this is what it looks like on an iPad right now.
Right.
Right. And you can pick, Kindle Fire. So it's a little skinnier. It'll change the way the page flows a little bit.
Gotcha.
And you can do iPhone. So this lets you actually preview exactly what it will look like on every device. Right. Which is a pretty powerful tool. Now, the thing is, in your Word document, if this was actually called, if it was marked as a header,
right,
then it would show up in this spot automatically. It would know that that's where it's meant to be. So I'm just going to take this to show you here. We can add a subtitle. So if you're using, what did that say before?
I can't remember now.
Crystal, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
If I were to have formatted my books to make them like KDP compliant, would that work in this program immediately, or would I have to change things?
Do you mean if you are bringing, oh yeah, no, if you formatted your Word doc to be KDP compliant, it should import perfectly into here.
And then with all the proper chapter, the table of content, indents.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see on here, it'll auto pull for your table of contents these titles, but you can change them if you want. So
does that then go backwards? So it'll save it back as a Word document with the headers with the proper formatting? Or is it one way?
Well, you can export as an RTF and a whole bunch of other things. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
File.
You go save.
If you save, it just saves your Vellum. Let's see.
So now, Crystal, you changed it in Vellum, but if I went through my manuscript in Word, I would set it up as the number as a header, but not the title of the chapter.
Well, and that's up to you a little bit to play with how you want that to be. You may want to do it like this, where it's like the dual, and then chapter 3 is what's down here, right? You can play around with how it looks on the screen.
But you play around with it in here.
Yeah.
In Vellum. But it says now, but you've got the dual chapter 3 subtitle clever.
Yeah, that was me trying to put in a placeholder that didn't work.
Oh, okay. Right.
There you go.
Oh, I get you.
Okay. So you can decide which way you want that to go, right?
It would be the other way for me always, but that's okay. Yeah, I see. And then it appears in the contents on the left, but no longer has, because my number 1, an affair of honor, was my mistake in heading it, right?
Right.
So in the Word document, I need to specify for that header, do I? And then the dual, if I specified header, chapter 3, that would then appear directly in Vellum when I transferred it over.
Right, exactly.
Is that header 1, header 2? Is that what the conventions are?
Yeah, I think if you use H1 and H2, it should pull it automatically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
And then the other thing you can do is in styles.
Yeah.
And this is quite magical. You can just pick which one you like, and it will auto format it.
Nice.
Stylistically.
I like the one with the big first letter. That's nice.
Yeah, and so you actually get to choose all the things. So there's a list down the left-hand side. So for heading, that's the first piece. So you pick which one you want. I don't know why it's not putting the line in. We have to figure that out after, but.
And if you have links to the, like, say, a second book in your series to Amazon, it keeps that data. So at the end of my book, I have an advertisement for the second book.
Yeah. We'll get there in a sec. So for this, like your first paragraph, You can choose if you want a drop cap.
Right. Yeah, I quite like that.
So there is a little bit of weirdness you'll see, because this should be formatting automatically. So
But what you've got on the left there is chapter 1. What you got over here is chapter 3.
it should be all of them. But let's see here. Like, this is a general style pane, and it should be showing everything.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's see.
I think it just updated now.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I think that it's, there you go. Okay. So if we want to change the way the heading is displaying, let's try there. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, so you can see how you can play around with the different pieces, and if there's a paragraph after the break, you can pick from one of the options. Do you want, a little bit of caps? Do you want not caps? How would you like that to look?
Mm.
And you pick it in here, and it populates your entire book like that.
That's very cool.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, pretty neat. There's individual caption sections. There's also, you'll see header and footer stuff, because when you're in here, you can actually take, let's say we want chapter 1 to be different in the print book than we do, or we want our copyright page to be different in the print book than it is in the ebook. So you can take, here we go, copy, paste. So let's call this copyright page just for fun. And copyright page. And you can see that on this one, on the contents, there's a little, looks like an iPhone, right?
Mm.
So you can say, include in all editions, ebooks only, or print book only. So you can actually make both your print layout and your ebook layouts from this same source file, which is especially beautiful when you go back to make a change in the future, whether you're just adding stuff to your also buy page, or maybe you're adding a change or something that someone's found after you publish it. Then you can come in easily, change it in one place, and then just re-export your files to all the formats you want. So this is like hundreds of hours that it can save you. So for this one, if we said included in ebooks only, and this one we can say, oops. This one we can say include in print only. And you can see on the side, the little icon will show you which is which. Super easy to track and follow. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the basics. There's a lot of really neat different page styles and section styles. So if I want to insert, let's see here, we want to add a chapter or an element. If you add an element, it gives you all of these things. You can add a half title page, a title page, copyright dedication. If you say what it is, it'll kind of pre-format as a start for you. So if we have our also buy page, it'll populate that as a starting place.
I have an epigraph at the beginning of the book that I'd want to put in probably.
There you go. Yeah, so there's lots of pre-formatted ones, and you can also just add a bit and then customize it however you want. And I particularly love this because I can take my back matter that's the same in every book, and I can actually copy that and paste it into another Vellum file when I do my next book. So you don't have to create it from scratch every time. Right. You can take elements from before, and it'll remember your settings from the last time you used it as well, and kind of default to those automatically, which is
I'm so sorry. I've just got to go and do something. Well, you okay. Carry on. Don't let me hold you up.
Okay. So Jeremy, you were asking about the elements like store links and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I just wonder if it kept that data, like if it kept the link information from your Word doc into here.
I would think it should, right?
Yeah, if it's a live link, it should pull it in as a link, but you might want to, you want to double check them.
Yeah, always test it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, when you go to add stuff, there are also, like, the about the author has some built-in links in here, and you want to use this section because it creates really useful little like gorgeous little icons that go with it. So yeah, you can see
they might even have it in the ad section as well for next week. They probably do.
Yeah, they've actually just added some new social media icons. Actually, they did an update to Vellum yesterday, and they've added a bunch more features. So I will be updating those. But they added, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. You can add your image. So yeah, you can add in an author image, and it will let you move it around wherever you want it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So that's pretty neat.
So, Crystal, just to be clear, it's probably best for me to go back and put those headers in for the chapters and everything in the Word file. So that'll. But I could do it in the Vellum file. Is that what you're saying?
You totally could. Yeah. When you were talking about cleanup, I thought you meant like before when we imported it, it had all those weird characters and stuff.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. So if there's anything in the text, like for you guys for context. Chris had an older file from his publisher that had a PDF of the book that was edited, but it wasn't in Word format. So we tried different ways to convert it to pull the text out into a Word doc so that it was easy to work with. So if you have a situation like that where you're going to need to make alterations, then you want to make the alterations in the Word document if you can, so that you always want your source file to be as clean as possible anyway. And then once you pull it in, but yeah, of course you can manually fix any of that stuff in Vellum if you want.
Right.
It's just if you were gonna want to take your Word document and hand that off to a graphic designer to do, some fancy print version or something, and you weren't going to use this for your print version, you'd want to have your Word doc be the accurate source file for them because they would need that too. So it's one of those best practice things. If you're not sure what direction you're going to go in the future, it's better just to start by preparing for anything, and you'll save yourself a lot of time and hassle down the road.
Right.
So I saw something that said re-import Word.
Yeah. So like if you got this all set up and then realized, you found a whole bunch of issues in Word, you can go up and re-import a new version of the book, and it should save all your settings.
So it should save all the, if I've got weird headings or I've got whatever, it's going to map that. I don't have to redo that?
It should, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm saying should because Word is a scary beast of a program that, depending on where other stuff came from and what other code is embedded in it, it's full of junk code for the most part. So,
okay.
It can be messy, but I've tried this on so many different files and so many different projects, and it's like bordering on magical the way it just knows where your breaks are, and it recognizes all kinds of stuff. So it does pretty amazing job, but it is good to test it, like pull it in and then see what it's recognizing and doing well and what it's not, and just try fixing that in a Word document and re-importing it and see if it did it. If you play around for 15 or 20 minutes, then get it all right and then pull it in, you'll be pretty happy with the results.
Great.
And do you have the name of you said there was a Windows app that was similar?
It's not an app. It's actually
or service?
a tool inside Draft to Digital.
So, Draft to Digital, okay.
Yeah, and that is one of the publishing platforms. So I actually use that to publish all of my freebies, like my perma-free books. Because the only way to get a perma-free book is to publish it wide and then get Amazon to price match. Amazon doesn't have a free publishing option. You can't make it free. So I use Draft to Digital to publish that. And they also have a layout tool that's really similar. You import your Word document.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of stylistic options. And that does have an option to save all your back matter that's standardized. And you can just click to add it to each of your books.
Okay.
Which is pretty fabulous.
Crystal, I can't, I have to buy Vellum before I could import Jack Absolute into it, right? The only one they let you import
I don't think so.
No?
I think you can do anything in the sample.
Oh, okay.
I think. I used to be able to anyway. Give it a shot.
All right.
Yeah.
Good, because it's easy to play with that than.
Yeah, exactly. Play with the one you want to work with, because it's not a different version of the program. It's just that it'll expire after a certain point. Like, so you just put in your serial number to the version you already bought when you pay for it.
Right.
I like Scrivener.
Yeah, it's just like Scrivener that way. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing, and we're back. Okay. So, let's jump to Tony's questions, and then we'll work on Jeremy's stuff, because I feel like we can
ramp up.
Yeah, exactly.
Go low and then start low and go high.
Okay. So you're wondering more of what the overall process might be, or what kinds of commitment you'd be making, or?
Yeah, it's like marriage. Yeah, I kind of like my brother actually works for Friesen Press in Victoria, and he sells self-publishing packages. Right, there's like a presidential package, and he's been trying to get me to do that, but it's like $5,000 or more. And I'm thinking, unless you're booking author talks or author things, I'm not going to do it. Right. So anyway, but at the same time, so I've got this novel. I want to self-publish it, I think, at this point, because I'm not getting any other nibbles on it. Okay, what do I do then, right? Once I format it and I get a ISBN number and I publish it to Kindle and figure out the price, I'm now then completely lost.
Right. Well, that's kind of the good news. I mean, if you don't spend that $5,000 on that package from that company, then you've got lots to play with. Like, when you're looking at your hard costs for self-publishing, ISBNs are free in Canada. It takes 5 minutes to sign up for your account. That's not a thing. There's an awful lot of what's a service in the paid service package. Right. It's free. Like it's somebody's going to tell you how to do it and hold your hand, but you don't pay for those things mostly in Canada. So your editing and your cover design, that's really where it comes in. But you're definitely, I had published with Friesen's 12 years ago, or what was the sort of equivalent. It was Trafford at the time, and they have they had a similar program to what Friesen Press is now. And I also use Friesen's for my traditional publishing, because they make beautiful books. But mostly the author services companies, if you can eliminate them from the process, it's better for you to keep that control, and choose kind of where to go big on your pieces. So if you're good to kind of cover those bases, and we can help connect you with the right service providers that do that at a really fair price, then some of those marketing steps we talked about, like getting a mailing list that you start building up and that kind of thing, is really good. The first question I would ask you is, do you have a short story or a prequel, or could you write something that fits into that novel's world as a giveaway piece? I've
got a couple things that I took out of I took out to make the novel a little shorter. I could use that as a giveaway.
And are those like self-contained things that make sense and tell a story on their own, or?
No.
Okay. So that's one of the things. Those would be a great value add for readers who signed up to your list, like after the book comes out. Like the deleted scenes are great as a thank you to readers, or like a reason for them to join your list once they already know that book. But you want something, and I think all of us have talked about this at various times in the last little while. You want something it's a gift you're giving them, and so it's sort of like the batteries are not included gifts are not as fun, because you don't know, like they don't work yet. So you really want to give a reader something that is complete if you can. And so if there is enough backstory, that you can write a short story featuring your actual character. Like you really want to get people into that world and wanting to know more about what's to come. You want to get them hooked on your writing, give them a reason to get to know that person. So yeah, if you have a short story or a little prequel novella or a something that goes with it, that tends to be the most effective in terms of freebies and actually generating readership.
Okay.
I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to have to leave the meeting now. I'm going to catch up with this on the recording, I think, because this is all stuff I'm interested in as well. But it's all happening in the kitchen now.
Lasagna's ready.
Lasagna's ready, and my family are coming back. So
fair enough.
Thank you so much, and I'm gonna explore that Vellum thing, and hopefully by the time we meet next week, because you're here every week at this time, aren't you?
It alternates times. So next week is in the daytime again, and then the following week is the evening.
It's on the calendar, right?
So. It is on the calendar. Yeah.
All right. See you guys. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
And then there was 3.
And then there were 3, yes. So you do want to have whatever your promo item is be something that is whole by itself, that you don't have to understand a larger context to get why it's valuable.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to give something away, but it's one of those situations where it's really hard to get anybody to sign up if you don't. Like, you know, I think I had 3 months or 4 months, I had a mailing list of like 12 people because I just was like, sign up if you want updates. And everybody's like, man. Yeah. Especially if they don't know you. Like if you're a newer author, they want to try before they buy. They want to have a sense of, you know, who is this writer? They want to test it out for free. And so you know, the easiest, best way to do that is by having a free book. And, you know, for a series, you can use the first book in the series or a prequel or whatever. Yeah. For a standalone, then a short story or like an introduction to the character. There's also examples of Mark Dawson has things like he's got a folder and it's like a confidential military report on his main character. Like it's the character building stuff, and it's a fun special feature. And it lets you get to know the character, and so that's a possibility as well. But you know, play around with your story and your context and see what would be a draw for your readers. Even before they're your readers, that has to be the key. Is you want them to be getting it before they've even seen your book, because ideally you want to build your list before you launch. So you're actually going to be giving away that freebie maybe while you're waiting for your book to be ready in the publishing process. That way when you do launch, you have at least a few people to send it out to. Yeah, which helps immensely.
I hear a child.
Yeah, they opened my door. Sorry, guys.
The glamorous life of parenting while being a book author.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the main.
Use Velcro against the wall. Is that what you did?
We had a deal, didn't hold up.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one of the biggest pieces, and I'll send you the infographic. I can. I'll send it to you because I didn't download it yet, but it does kind of tell you what are all the things that you can do before launching that you can kind of get started on early.
About a year ago, I got on some mailing list. I can't remember how I did, but this guy was excited about my new novel. Would love to have you download it, and it was kind of a thriller in the high tech industry about a startup and an IPO, and it was called Term Sheet. Anyway, so this guy had really nice collateral. So I download this thing, and I start reading it, and it's not unreadable, but it takes like 4 chapters to get to the start of the novel, right? So he said, I go, well, okay, new author, but the marketing was really good. And then he sends an email, oh, would love to have your review, what you thought. I said, who is your editor? and he writes back. He says, "Oh, it was, did you find any mistakes?" I go, "No." I said, "I'm an author," and I said, and maybe it's a style thing. I said, "Send me your first chapter. I'll mark it up for you." I said, "I'll just, because it was kind of verbose and it needed a real content edit." I didn't get any response at all. Like, I'm just going, it maybe style, different style, but so it's the guy's his marketing aspect was so so good. The problem with the writing wasn't.
Right. And that's one thing that you'll find out there in the indie world. And I mean, not in the indie world too. Like a lot of, the even commercially published stuff right now is there's not the editing time that there used to be. There's not a lot of the resources there used to be. So that is the thing. I think when you pay attention to all of the pieces, you have a huge head start in word spreading easily and in finding followers easily and in finding readers easily. Stuff will take off quicker if you have that, right? It's and some of it's just volume. Like if you send it to enough people, you'll find the right people who like it, and then your reviews build up slowly and all that stuff. So it's just a matter of like how fast does that arc need to be, and how much money do you want to pump into the system? And ideally, you're going to spend as minimal an amount as you possibly can to get the best product you possibly can.
Right.
So your money should definitely be going into cover design and editing if you're picking two things to pick for.
Yeah.
Do as much of the actual publishing part yourself as you can. And then for marketing and promotion, there's a ton of free stuff to start with.
Yeah.
And then once you build up some of those reviews and you get a little bit of traction, then you can start weighing cost benefit on
advertising.
Paid advertising and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
My biggest, and I don't know if we talked about this the last time. So my main character is a male ballet dancer that gets caught into a born identity situation. He's injected with the memories of a dead Cold War spy. And he's a male ballet dancer, and he gets caught into this thing. And the biggest feedback I've got is that a male ballet dancer is too quirky a character, and it would not sell to the demographic that reads those kinds of books.
Ballet dancers are amazing athletes.
Well, my wife teaches ballet, and I know way more about ballet than a computer guy should, just, because I've been married to her for a long time. So, she went to the National Ballet School in Toronto, and I stood on stage with the National Ballet of Canada as essentially an extra, and I helped carry Karen Kane off stage during Romeo and Juliet. So that was sort of what watching these guys and how strong they were. I thought this would be a good character. But and so the book's done. I could probably do another copy edit on it, but it's essentially done. Eileen did a really good edit on it.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm considering, I said, do I turn it into a female? Do I change the gender? Do I make my main character female as opposed to male, and then the male is female kick-ass?
I think make it interesting. Make it something to talk about. I don't know. My instinct is always, if that is what felt right and it's interesting enough to make it different, then don't try to aim for the lowest common denominator. That's
I'm feeling done with it, right? I can feel it like
so there's that. There's how much do you really want to push that same thing? But there's also, you're indie pubbing it. You can put it out there, and if it does not fly, then you can pull it and you can rewrite it if that's a passion project for you.
True.
Or you can just write a different book. This is not the only idea you will ever have.
And I'm writing a middle grade, right? I'm on a third draft of a middle grade novel, and so, but that was sort of my stopping point. It's like, and at Surrey, I had a discussion with a few people, and they go, well, change the character. I'm going, why don't I just have a liver transplant? Wouldn't that be easier?
I mean, if your plan is to still try to traditionally publish it, then that's what they're asking for, then okay. But the point of doing it indie is to be able to hit some of those interesting niche
Yeah.
points that you can't do.
Right.
You can't take that chance the same way in, a big New York publishing house.
Yeah.
But you could be a little riskier with that. And if that's what resonates for you, then as long as your cover and your blurb and everything else you pick is totally targeting the right audience, then give them an opportunity, to see how that works. So
that's fair.
That would be my advice, is just, if that's what resonates for you, then go for it. Give it a shot. I mean,
thanks.
There'll be some steps in between now and it being done, so you can get some feedback from people and see how that works.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Jeremy, let's tackle some of your questions.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think, Tony, you'll find some of this stuff is useful as well, just in understanding like where you might go with an arc of building a list and stuff.
Yeah.
So I bought Kindle Rocket.
Yeah.
I started kind of searching some keywords. So I got some keyword/phrases I thought would be helpful. And so I think about 2 days ago, I changed one word that I thought was my worst keyword and put it with my best keyword. And my sales or downloads, free downloads over 24 hours plummeted.
Uh-oh.
And so I was like, yeah, that's weird. So I changed it back to what it was before. And then for that day, that kind of came back slowly. I left work at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I had I can't remember, say 8 to 14 downloads. When I got home a half hour later, I had 176 downloads. And I was like, what is going on? And so I was like, well, this is cool and all. And I was like, I'll try just imagine, well, maybe that new keyword did work. It just those numbers didn't come through in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have said that my old keywords generated that number. But my old keywords, I was getting kind of fewer and fewer downloads as time went on. So anyways, I ended up changing it back to that new keyword, if you're still following me. And again, the sales went down over 24, or downloads went down over 24 hours. And then today, they've kind of come back to what they were before, which was just like a normal number, nothing special. So my plan is to just, tomorrow morning, change another keyword and see what happens. But I guess my question to you is, those numbers that come through, are they quite staggered? Do they reflect real-time downloads?
They are supposed to, unless, I don't think it's instant. Like if I click download, I don't think it shows up 1 second later on the dashboard, but I think within an hour or so, they're supposed to be accurate.
So crazy, because I've had these spikes before. They happen over 10 minutes, it feels like. I go from 20, 30 to all of a sudden, I think my best day was 365, and it happened over 10 minutes. It didn't continue. It didn't keep on climbing. It was within a half hour, just boom, and that was it. Maybe a couple more per day. So I'm having a hard time tracking to see, am I doing the right thing or not?
Yeah.
So anyways, I wanted to share it with you and just kind of get your sense of if I realize it's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, some of it is just timing is random on some of that stuff, and you'll never know if there's a librarian out there who linked to it somewhere, or you know what I mean, some of those spikes come from external sources. I had one of those the other day that I couldn't place, and someone emailed me after and said, oh, I shared this out for you, and it was a company that actually was looking for, did I want to do paid advertising with them. They said, we shared out your promo just for free, but we do also have a paid service. If you want to use us next time you do a promo, you can let us know. And then if they charge $5 or something to do it. So, sometimes there's something like just a person sharing, or something might've got posted, or, if it's a YA book, there might've been a class at school who was all in the computer lab, learning about getting free books or something at a library. I don't know. So,
okay.
There's a lot of really random world events happening. So try to, it's good that you're watching and that you're changing one thing at a time. because then you can measure a little bit what is happening. But yeah, to just be aware, like it's hard to guess. Do you know what age your readers might be? Like, do you think it's adults reading the books or
theoretically it's like that, 12 to 18 range, I guess, but it seems like it's a lot of adults.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like, any feedback I get is from adults. It feels like for the most part. I got a letter today, email today from a person that sounded like, they didn't say their age, but when I read it, I mean, this feels like an adult. Most of them do get letters, so that's, I've had a couple kids, but mostly.
Yeah. And do you know what countries they're in? Like what time zones?
Well, if I do look online, it's often the States, some India, some UK, a little bit Australia.
Okay. Have you sent out your book through any of the free promo sites?
Not yet. I've been so focused on listening to the Kindlepreneurs like audio over and over again, trying to get my head around it, and then messing around with the keywords and messing around with Kindle Rocket. And I have another thing to bring up I had to mess with all this week that I did not foresee with my mailing list and Mailchimp and unsubscribe rates. I had to hack away 150 email lists I collected over the last 2 weeks because Mailchimp didn't like the way Bookfunnel collected emails.
What?
Yeah. I can get into that now if you want. It's more like...
let's go there because that's super weird.
So what was happening was people were downloading my book, and then a day later they get like a welcome email from me, and that was generating, I guess, roughly a 10% unsubscribe rate, which I was fine with. Yeah. But Mailchimp said, we don't like this. If this continues, we're going to freeze your account. So I emailed them and told them, like, full transparency, here's what I'm doing. And they said, oh, okay, we understand that's fine, but a large unsubscribe rate looks bad on us. So you have to make them opt in, and you have to unsubscribe all the people you've collected and then email them personally through your own email service and ask them to resubscribe if you want to keep them. And I was like, okay, so I did that, and I collected back maybe 12 or so. At least I know they're hardcore. But I'm like, Jesus, that hurts.
Oh, no, that's not cool.
I emailed Bookfunnel and told them, and they said, yeah, Mailchimp are a real pain in the butt. Maybe go somewhere else because they're kind of changing things. And I was like, okay, that's fair enough. And they suggested MailerLite, I think.
That's what I use. They're great.
So I'll probably change to them. I haven't. What I did do is I'm just going to try this for a week or so. And if they say you got to hack away your list, I'm just going to just leave. But I now give them a free, the welcome email. You get the welcome email plus a free 7-chapter sneak peek at book 2. So I'm hoping, hey, I'm giving you more free stuff. Maybe stick around as opposed to unsubscribe. Yeah.
Well, if it were me, I would move. Like, I know that other people have had issues with MailChimp, and MailerLite is actually cheaper as you get more followers than MailChimp is as well. And they have some beautiful automation tools built in. It's super nice to use. So if you want, I'll send you there's a referral link, I think, in there as well, which I think benefits both of us if you sign up. So
great. I have one other question. Because I emailed these 150 people and said, sorry, because of compliance issues, I have to, unsubscribe you. But if you re-sign up, I'll give you a free 7-chapter sneak peek. If I just added them back to my mailing list, would that look bad or be bad?
I would export.
I have all their emails still.
Yeah, export them all. Just import them into MailerLite and start fresh. They did agree to sign up to your list. That happened. Okay. They can unsubscribe from MailerLite if they want.
Stayed on.
Yeah. No. It's both. That's BS. I'm going to throw that out there. Cool. That's super frustrating. And that is just a MailChimp issue. But yeah, that's not cool.
Okay.
It is definitely something that you do run into. Like when it is a free promo thing, there will be definitely some people who do that. That's weird. You shouldn't lose the people who opted in as well. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Do you mind if I ask one more question?
Yeah, go for it. I'm fine to stay for a few more minutes.
Okay.
I don't have anything to do so.
So I'm having a really tough time, and it might just be me overcomplicating it, trying to figure out what an actual niche genre is on Amazon.
Okay.
So like when I search out books, like it seems to be that my book best fits into the steampunk niche genre. So
Okay.
I'm trying to search steampunk, and I've been trying to find like a genre, like steampunk mystery, for example. I'm trying to find a genre that I could like put my book in where it'd be competitive. But when I search it, I don't know, like, is this a genre or is this just a search title in Amazon? Like, I can't just even search, like, just a search phrase in a genre.
Okay.
Like, right now, I'm number 4 in free steampunk. I've been number 1 at times, but I never got a bestseller list there. I've been number 1 for a long time there, and now I'm number 4. And then Sword and Sorcery, I'm number 14 today, which is fine. I'm not in that category, and it seems like Sword and Sorcery is a big category, so things aren't matching up in my brain.
Right. Okay. So, steampunk science fiction is one of the categories.
I think that's what I am in. Like I have like 2 genres, and one is steampunk, I think science fiction. One is like a or the other one I'm in is like it's not even Sword and Sorcery. It's like magic and fantasy or something.
Okay. So here's the thing. You want to go into your KDP account.
Yeah.
And you want to go to the help section, and you want to email them about categories, because what they've done, they've changed it about 2 weeks ago, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, is it used to be that it showed you only like the categories that you're in, and they would list a whole bunch, and now they've actually changed it so they only display the ones you've got the highest ranking in, but you're actually in a whole bunch more than what you can see on your book listing, and that's a new shift. So if you email their help people and request to be able to see all of the categories that your book is currently in, then you can look at them and see if there's any you want to add. You're only allowed, I want to say 10 categories total.
I think right now there's only a slot for 2 in the
No, they only, so they let you pick 2 when you sign up for KDP. And then based on your keywords, they auto assign you to a whole bunch more.
Okay.
But you can't see all of them on your book listing. You can only see the top 2 or 3 ranked ones.
Okay.
And then all the others, you're in them, but if you're not ranked in like the top, whatever, it's not going to show. So what you want to do is just send them a help message and say, I need to know which categories my book is already listed in. Can you tell me all of the ones it's in right now? And then you'll be able to see how many there is. If there's not the full capacity, you can request that they add you into more. You can do it 2 ways. Some are automatic keywords where if you put those in, it automatically assigns you to a category. And other ones are, you have to manually request that category. So you send a message to their tech support and say, I would like you to add this book with this ASIN to these categories, please.
Okay.
They usually do it in like 24 hours.
Awesome. That's very helpful. And so I feel like what I put in those 2 categories should be my most competitive, what I think is my most competitive genres. But how do I kind of figure out, because I think what I have right now may be too broad. How do I figure out, first of all, is that true? And if that is true, how do I figure out what those 2 genres should be? Or does it even matter? Is it just like
I actually went with kind of the other way around. I went with the broadest possible categories were the first 2 that I asked for, and then I got the subcategories added by keywords and special request.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then that kind of covered all the bases.
I see. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, how long do you have to be at number 1 in the category to get a bestseller, or does that equal?
Well, they don't market like that. Like if you're in the top, 100 or whatever, then you count as an Amazon bestseller. But it's not like they send you anything to say that.
Oh, I thought you had a little like yellow tag beside your book on the page.
Oh, I think they might for the paid ones, but they don't do it for free.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you get yeah, if you get that in a paid category, then they flag it. But no, the free one, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can say, like, you can say, top 10 Amazon bestseller in whatever category. Like, you can put that in your marketing materials or something if you want. There's no like official rules around that. It's good to have a screen grab of your ranking when you're going to say that, but
try to get it back up there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's up to you to decide when is appropriate to make those claims.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I have more questions, but I see we're over time, so I can save it.
That's okay. I'm fine to stick around for a bit if you want.
Okay. So I'll go through so I asked you about my weird spike. I asked you about, commas in keywords don't matter, do they?
Commas.
I put a comma. It doesn't help, does it?
No, in fact, you don't want them. Like, you don't want any punctuation in your phrase. Because if you put a comma between it, it makes it two. Like, it splits it.
Okay. Yeah. I asked about my categories. I asked about Bookfunnel unsubscribes. So how do I get more people, if it's even possible, to download my Booksprout review copies?
Oh, how do you get more people in Booksprout, you mean?
Yeah, I only have 3 right now. It's not very good.
So it might be a little bit tough category-wise because of the genre. Like, Booksprout, I know, is heavily populated with romance readers, so that will be part of it. The other thing is, did you check the box that said to make it public, your ARCs?
I'm not 100% sure. I would have if I saw that, but I don't remember. So I'll go check that.
Double check in your account, because there is a box you can tick that says make it public, and that makes your listing searchable. Like in like Google, if somebody types in whatever, it'll actually find that in search.
Okay.
So that's one way. Yeah, it's a bit tricky because you're not in there. You know what I mean? Like, if there's not a lot of readers in there who that would fit their demographic, then that just makes it harder to find.
I'll take anything right now, so 3 is great.
Yeah, exactly. Any reviews are better than not reviews. The other thing would be, the other thought I had for you is to try and find, like, I don't know if there's any librarian or teacher things, like if you want kids and teens to help you out, see if you can find like a youth library or something like that. Are you familiar with Christianne's Lyceum? Do you know what that is? It's
it's Broadway and Elma.
Yeah, thank you. Is that Kits? I never know what the areas are called.
It's Kitsilano.
Okay, it's in Kits. So she has groups of readers that come in and they'll give feedback for authors and stuff, and there's kids and teens and whatever else. So you might think about asking her as well. Like, if you're willing to go in and do a chat one night.
Yes, for sure.
What's her name? It's Christianne's Lyceum. Lyceum.
Lyceum?
EUM, yeah.
Okay, Christian.
Yeah.
Okay,
Christianne, yeah. Let me see if I can.
I'm gonna say it's like book talk or something.
Yeah, I mean, she had like a readers group of kids who come in and they'll give you feedback and stuff too. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff. There's book clubs and there's like summer book camp and all kinds of things. But it's just a place where there's access to kids. So check out what they have going on and
Okay, I've also been offered to read at a high school to a teacher friend. I just need to put together a proper talk, like a PowerPoint or something.
Yep.
Kind of like anyways, I won't get into it, but it's just more like time, like management.
Yeah.
I have one more question if you have the time.
Yep. Do it.
Okay. So that was my. Okay. So BookBub ads. So I was always told that you need like 100 5-star reviews, and you need to have like either a successful book, or there was one other, I can't remember, it was like either really successful or really something else, and by my calculations right now I was neither of those. So I was like, there's no point, applying for BookBub yet until I get one of those two things.
Okay, so here's the deal. There is always a point to applying for a BookBub because you might get it. It's part of how it all works is based on availability in your category. So we've just come out of like major Christmas competition for everything. If you get one, then they don't let you, like there's a waiting period before you can get another one. I think you can only apply every 30 days. So you should be applying every 30 days.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Can you do two books at once?
I know people who've gotten a BookBub with like 10 reviews, as long as they're positive. Like part of it depends on your category. So go look on BookBub in your category and see, what the standards are for most of them. They do like wide distribution. You have a better chance of getting featured if you're wide, and you have a better chance of getting featured if you have you need to not have changed your price in the last 30 days, I think it is, and whatever. So if you've got a perma-free book that you're looking at, that's one option. But there's also, if you've got your second book that's not free and you do like a 99-cent promo, it costs a little bit more. But if that's a good percentage discount, then that's pretty huge. There's charts on BookBub that tell you exactly how many readers are in each category. So look at the categories and apply for one. Like I'm guessing your genre is going to be one of the lower cost ones, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's also 2 sets of guidelines, which one is like the basic stuff that they look for and the requirements. And the other one was an article that I found down a weird rabbit hole that was like sort of another set of layered stuff on top of that. But you should totally apply because you definitely want to do that. But first, I think the biggest thing is you want to claim your BookBub profile, your author profile. I don't know if you've done that yet, but do that first and then make sure you send something out. Your next thing that goes out to your newsletter, say, hey, did you know I'm on BookBub? Please click here and follow me on BookBub, because you'll want to have your author profile claimed and have a few followers.
Sorry, I was writing a note to myself. Say that again?
You want to have your author profile claimed on BookBub and then invite your list to follow you and just like ask everybody on social media to follow you on BookBub. So that if they go to look at your profile, they can see that you're in their community or whatever.
Okay, awesome. I wasn't ignoring you. I was writing that note down.
All good.
Okay, I have to run. Sorry, I've just been told.
Yeah, fair enough. And I will. I'll post the article links in River right now about BookBub. There's a section for BookBub in there, so you can look at the guidelines.
Okay.
Just make sure that you fit and choose which book you want to submit. But it's. I've never met anyone who said it wasn't worth it if they got accepted. And most people say they get. Even the people who get in say like, oh yeah, 1 out of every like 15 times I apply, I actually get it. So It's good to just be applying.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks, Tony. I'll see you next week for sure, Crystal.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.